Yo, what is up guys, your boy IzuKage here with a new what if, and this what if is what if Naruto was Goku Black's reincarnation. So this is a suggested what if. Should put that up on screen right now. Also, I'm not the hugest fan of Dragon Ball, so if I do get something wrong in this, just comment it politely in the comments. Don't come at me like, oh, Goku Black, he's so much like whatever. Just like be respectful, you know. So yeah, if there's something wrong with it, just tell me. I'll change it in the next part. And yeah, so let's get right into the what if. So the story starts off with Naruto being chased around the village. You know, this is a tradition. Every year they celebrate the defeat of the Nine Tails. So they chase Naruto down, and he's 4 years old, so he doesn't stand a chance against these grown men, Genin and some Chunin. They easily catch him and start kicking Naruto around like a football. So let's switch perspective to Goku Black, and in this I'll treat Goku Black as a person, not as Zamasu in Goku's body. Just Goku Black is just Goku Black. So in the Dragon Ball universe, he's dead. He's been roaming around the cosmos for years, just drifting around, and eventually drifts away from the Dragon Ball universes and entering the Narutoverse. Goku Black, seeing this, he loves it already. All he senses is hate, pain, and suffering, all things he loves. So he tries going towards the highest concentration of it, and he gets brought to the Leaf Village, and it's taken towards this little boy being beaten up. You know, Goku Black smiles, saying, "This is perfect. This is how can it get better than this?" So he enters the boy's body, and in there he sees the Nine Tails, and because this is the Yang side, aka the evil side, Goku Black is drawn to it. He breaks the cage using his scythe, and Kurama, seeing this, is confused why this thing is in Naruto's body. But he is free now, so he tries running out of the cage, but is stopped by one hand. And also, I'll be shortening Goku Black to just Black, or yeah, just whenever I feel like saying Black or Goku Black, I'll just say that. So he's stopped by Black's hand, and he starts absorbing Kurama, and since this half is entirely evil, he sucks it all up. And one thing, I'll allow Black to do this. If Naruto is angry enough, he can control Naruto's body. So that happens. Naruto is being kicked around by these people, and they feel something, some sort of killing intent. They look down at Naruto, and his hair begins changing to jet black, and he starts floating up off the ground. Naruto, or should I say Goku Black, rushes the villager who last kicked him, and using his energy blade cuts his head clean off, along with everyone else there, so around 10-ish people. Naruto gives everyone who was watching, you know, the onlookers, a chilling smile, like, "You're next." But yeah. But two Ambu appear, subduing Naruto quickly, and Black could easily escape this, but he decides to go back into the Mindscape to talk to the kid. So while Naruto is unconscious, Black drags him into the Mindscape, and Naruto is scared seeing this man. One, because this guy looks really intimidating. You know, he is kind of built, you know, yeah. And two, while Black was controlling Naruto's body, he was seeing everything that was happening, unable to do anything about it. So he's a bit shaken up, but for some reason Naruto didn't really feel bad for any of them. He actually felt they got what they deserve. And this is like Goku Black's influence on Naruto. He wouldn't actually be like this, but yeah. So Black starts talking to the kid. "Kid, you're lucky I saved you, mortal." And Naruto replies, "Who are you?" And also, let me explain. Right now, Black is trying to win over Naruto. He's like 4. So if he uses stuff, he'll understand, you know, he'll appeal to Naruto better. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm your best friend. I'll always be there for you to protect you. Just trust me." And he extends his arms towards Naruto, and as Naruto goes to reach for it, a hand touches Naruto on the shoulder, and this is Ashura trying to bring Naruto back to the light. Naruto turns his head, but Goku Black quickly grabs his hand and said, "Don't focus on him. He was never there to help you. He was watching as they beat you up." And while putting Naruto's face into his chest, so he couldn't see what was about to happen, Black tries using his energy blade to cut Ashura, but he's a spirit, so it really didn't do anything. So he decides to put him in a small cage, kind of like the Ninetales, but smaller, way smaller, like 2 feet high, to try and suppress the spirit. And you might be asking, like, how can he do all of this? Well, I'm gonna put it where that the dominant power in Naruto's mindscape can shape it however he wants, create things, stuff like that. So with that, Black tells Naruto he has to go, but he'll be watching over him, and Naruto returns to his original body. Naruto begins looking around, and he's chained up, like with seals all over his body, and he sees 2 Anbu guarding his cell door. Also, his hair did return to blonde. So let's switch perspective to Hiruzen. He's in a council meeting. It was just called after the whole thing with Naruto happened, and everyone was talking loudly. They weren't being productive at all, and some were shouting like, "We should kill the demon," and others were saying, "Yeah, kill him." And Hiruzen was trying to get everyone's attention, like, quiet down. Like, he kept saying, "Quiet down, quiet down." And Hiruzen just slammed his hand on the table and said, "Shut up!" And everyone went silent. "I'm the damn Hokage and you listen to me. I will not kill Naruto." And many villagers did testify that Naruto was acting in self-defense. So if any other punishment can be arranged, tell me. Then Danzo spoke up. He says, "Well, why don't you leave him in my care, Hiruzen?" And Hiruzen looks at Danzo and he's acting kinda sus. Well, to be honest, Danzo is always acting kinda sus. So that would be the last option. Then one of the villagers says, "Well, Hokage, I don't care what happens to him. I just don't want him near like me or any of the villagers." And someone else was like, "Yeah, that." So Hiruzen thought of something. He said, he's thinking, why not leave him in the forest of death? Because most people don't know there's a house at the center of it. So Hiruzen says this, knowing that and the civilian council immediately accepts. They think the forest of death as like this sort of death trap. They think the forest of death was like a death trap. Once you go in, you're not getting out. So they're not vigorously like, "Yeah, send him there. We don't want him over here." So that was the ruling. So back to Naruto. He was still chained up for a good hour now, and until he heard the door open. So Hiruzen began walking down the stone stairs and came up to Naruto's cell. He tells the Anbu, to leave. And Naruto was surprisingly calm, which Hiruzen noticed and thought, how could he be so calm after killing like so many people? But that's not why he was here. He puts up 2 fingers and says release, releasing the seal on Naruto's mouth, chakra, and movement. But he was still like chained up, and he says, "Naruto, I know those villagers were treating you unjustly, but that doesn't mean you should kill people." Naruto looked down to the ground, but not out of sadness or disappointment in himself. None of those. He was angry. Angry at Hiruzen, angry at this damn village. If he can't live a normal life, so he'll make sure they can't either. So Hiruzen walks in and unchains Naruto, telling him he'll be staying at the house in the Forest of Death, but not the huge mansion. There's like a wooden house like in the middle of the forest surrounded by trees. So yeah. So Hiruzen has an Anbu take Naruto to the house and assigns 3 more to keep an eye on Naruto at all times. Naruto, he walks into this house. It's fully wooden, and I would say this is probably a house that, like, I don't know, the first Hokage made. he was testing out his abilities, stuff like that. So yeah, pretty sick house. So Naruto comes in, he sees all his stuff from his old house, which wasn't much. So he goes around, starts cleaning the place up, and after all that, after he's settled, he begins training to be the strongest, training to get some revenge on the people in the village. So this training would allow Naruto to use some of Goku Black's powers without having him take over his body. So the Anbu are seeing this, and they report this to Hiruzen that he's doing some training, like mainly running around fighting the beasts he come across, but nothing chakra based, which Hiruzen felt relieved of. Relieved mainly because he didn't think Naruto would be a threat without chakra. So time skip 4 years, and it's Naruto's first day in the academy. He's 8 years old right now. So yeah, they still allow him to go. He's a kid, he needs that knowledge. So all the kids in the class are scared of Naruto, including Iruka, because they've all heard of what Naruto did. And in the case of Sasuke, he was actually there watching. So when Naruto walks into the class, people first stare at him but start avoiding eye contact to not get on Naruto's bad side, because you don't want that. So while he was walking to his seat, Kiba steps in front of Naruto and says, "Hey you really think you're all that, huh? Oh please, I can take you down in a heartbeat." And Kiba begins running towards Naruto, and Naruto simply dodges, causing Kiba to fall forward. And Naruto kicks up into Kiba's face, spinning him back, causing him to land on his back, hitting his head. And Naruto just begins walking back to his seat like nothing happened. Iruka, who walked in to see Kiba spinning on the ground, he rushes towards Kiba and takes him to the nurse's office, and everybody else in the class is shocked. Just shocked at the pure strength and skill. So once he got back, he asked the class what happened, and they were obviously gonna lie on Naruto to make him out to be the bad guy. But Naruto released some killing intent, some bloodlust, and they quickly switched up. They explained that Kiba provoked the fight and stuff like that to make it more lean towards, that they would favor Naruto. So after hearing the explanation, Iruka tells Naruto not to turn to violence. It's not the best option, especially against like your friends, or at least that's what Iruka thinks they are. But after that he continues the class for the day. So class goes on okay for a week, and Kiba finally returns. He's keeping his distance from Naruto. He's not trying to get that again. So today's class, they'll be having their first spar. They go outside to the sparring area, this ring, and if you go out of the ring, you you lose. And if you get beat up, or whenever Iruka thinks someone wins, he announces them the winner. So some background and other useless characters go, and after all of that, it's finally Naruto versus Sasuke. No lie, Sasuke is scared. He's seen firsthand what Naruto can do. So when the match starts, Sasuke tries keeping his distance from Naruto so that he can't use his the thing he saw him use to cut off the people's head, the energy blade. So Sasuke's fangirls are so Sasuke's fangirls were shouting, "Go Sasuke, beat that Naruto up!" And then Naruto not wanting to wait for Sasuke to make the first move, he rushes Sasuke, and Sasuke had no time to react. Naruto punches Sasuke in the gut and grabs him by his hair and throws him close to the edge of the ring, like a child actually. Sasuke manages to stand up, and Naruto smirks. So Sasuke manages to stand up barely, and Naruto, seeing this, he smirks a bit. He's like, "Okay, alright, seems I need to use a little more on you." And Naruto starts gathering ki in his hand, and a black and yellow orb forms. He then launches it towards Sasuke, knocking him not only out of the ring, but into the side of the school, the academy. And Naruto begins walking towards Sasuke, who is now stuck in the wall. And Naruto forms his energy blade, covering his hand, and Sasuke, remembering this, is freaking out, saying, Please, don't kill me." And Naruto begins slowly walking towards Sasuke, and when he's finally in front of him, he says, "Too late." But before Naruto could do anything, Iruka grabs his shoulders, trying to drag Naruto towards him, but Naruto didn't even budge. Naruto, not wanting any more blood on his hands, he then starts walking back towards the crowd of students, and they're all completely shitting themselves, and Sasuke was brought to the hospital. In the hospital, Sasuke, instead of hatred, no, because that's all been drowned out by being scared, and some of you might say Sasuke wouldn't be scared. Well, he literally saw 15 to 20 people get their heads lopped off, and to see the same person standing in front of you ready to do the same thing, that would be frightening. So Sasuke really just wanted to keep his distance from Naruto. And speaking of Naruto, he was walking back home when a group of root Ambu surrounded him, around 5 of them, and the one in the middle says, "Come with us without resisting and you won't die." Naruto, not wanting to deal with this, just instant transmissions home and appears in front of his house. The root Ambu were all shocked at this, and they all thought he was using the 4th ability, the Flying Raijin. So they report this to Danzo, and he was sipping tea, going about his day, and he spits it out like "You're telling me this brat can use the 4th Hokage's jutsu?" And the Ambu was like, we think so. I mean, he disappeared. And Danzo is honestly freaking out at this point. So after he gets that all out of his system, let's get back to Naruto. He hasn't done much, just goes to school, avoid fights, and the reason he's avoiding fights is because he has something more important to be doing other than playing around with these mortals. So Naruto is becoming more and more like Goku Black the longer he's within him. So fast forward 5 years to the graduation exam, and this goes to canon. There's no written parts, just the clones, and when Naruto goes up to do it, he makes perfect clones, and no Black can't create clones, but Naruto just uses his regular chakra. I mean, he still has it, but he would never use it when you have ki. So he does this one time, and he passes. They do shuriken throwing and 1v1s, but I don't want to get into it. How many times can I say Sasuke gets his head stomped in before it gets boring? So Naruto gets put on his regular Team 7, and they're sitting in class waiting for Kakashi, and it's really tense in the room. Imagine sitting in a room with someone who wouldn't have any second thoughts about killing you. So you can see how they feel. So after 2 hours of waiting, Kakashi finally shows up. He opens the door and he's looking around the room, and he's like, "Man, these guys are pretty boring." And he's like, "Where's your 3rd team member?" And Sasuke and Sakura start looking around the room, and then Naruto taps Kakashi on the back of the shoulder. He turns around like, "Wait, what?" And Naruto punches him into the class, into the teacher's desk thing. And Kakashi's like, what? And when the smoke clears, Naruto walks up to Kakashi and says, "You're late." And he begins walking to the roof. Kakashi is still this hurt, that hurts. He's holding his chest like, "Oh damn, that kid has a punch." So he tells the 2 in the room to meet up at the roof, and they all reach there to see Naruto just sitting down there waiting. So let me use this time to explain how Naruto looks. He's pretty normal, except he has more lean muscle and taller, like at Kakashi's shoulder. And he wears a jumper just like canon, but the colors match to Goku's black outfits. So Kakashi tells them to introduce themselves, say their likes, dislikes, and goals. Sakura, Haruno, I like. Sasuke, I dislike. And she glances at Naruto, but she doesn't want the smoke, so she says, I don't know, she dislikes, I don't know, whatever she dislikes, and says her goal is to be with a certain someone, you know, like playing with her fingers and looking at Sasuke. So Kakashi face palms and says, we got another one. But next was Sasuke Uchiha. My name is Sasuke Uchiha and I hate a lot of things. I don't like anything particular. And Sakura is in the back starting to frown, but yeah. What I have is not a dream, because I will make it a reality. I will restore my clan and destroy a certain someone, and in the process surpass someone else. Glancing at Naruto. Naruto doesn't even give Sasuke any time of day, and next it was his turn. You know, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen, I hate mortals, and you don't want to know what my dream is. And everyone there, you know, they were kind of weirded out by this comment, like, why wouldn't we want to know what your dream is? But yeah, so Kakashi tells them to meet him at the training ground tomorrow, and then he leaves, or you know, they think he leaves. And Naruto jumps off the edge of the building and starts floating down, but Sasuke nor Sakura realizes. But Kakashi, who was still watching him from like a tree, you know, he sees this and finds this a bit intriguing. So Naruto begins walking, and almost instantly he senses Kakashi. Naruto just sighs, and instant transmissions outside the Hokage's office. There, Naruto begins running through his plan in his head. Then, you know, having everything sorted, he does instant transmission again behind Hiruzen in his office. Energy blade in hand, Naruto raises it and damn, did you guys just miss that last part? That's tough. Well, I'm going to be going over it in part 2. So thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked it, like. If you like my content in general, why not subscribe? You feel me? So yeah, with that, I'll see you guys in the next What If.